You're a mean one, Michi-chan. Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking. Everyone knows that Aphmau is my favourite YouTuber and that I enjoy analysing and contributing to the worlds that she has built for us viewers to enjoy. Specifically MyStreet in most instances. However, one does not simply watch one YouTuber. Another person that I love watching on YouTube is Lawrence Simpson, better known as Masako X. Masako X in turn is best known for being the voice of Son Goku and Son Gohan on the Team 4-Star production Dragon Ball Z Abridged. But on his own channel he takes the franchise of Dragon Ball to a whole new level, doing things like world building, colour theories, which I actually use for an exam by the way, and general discussions. Within those discussions he does the thing that I think is his best feature on his channel, which is his what-if scenarios, where he takes a particular moment or a particular character and thinks about an alternative way the story could have gone down from that point onwards, thinking about all the consequences that that change would entail, whether for good or for bad. I'd like to do something similar, and I've stumbled across a particular scenario which at first seems like it may not have that much of an impact, but the changes would become exponential if this scenario were to be true. And that of course is, as the title implies, what if Michi stole Christmas? The inspiration for this theory came from watching back the first season of MyStreet and noticing the similarities between the ways that Michi and Zane were presented. Both of them were antagonists from the Minecraft Diaries series, and so as such they were presented as the characters that everyone would kind of clash with. Both of them kind of presented the same way. Zane got a little bit more protagonism being Gareth's brother, and that's why I think eventually he became the star of the character arc of the villain who turns good, or the antagonist who turns good, essentially. However, that all came down to the fact that he was the one who effectively stole Christmas, thus befriending Aphmau. What if that had been Michi? In the original MyStreet that we all know, at the time of the episode where Zane steals Christmas, aka Season 1 Episode 11, How the Zane Stole Christmas, both Michi and Reese are sick and bedridden. Kawaii-chan went over to Michi's house and took care of her, thus both of them missed the events of the majority of that episode. Although given that Michi is at the party later, it's safe to assume that the illness wasn't as bad as it seemed. So for the sake of this scenario, I'm going to have Michi recover slightly earlier, just a few hours before. For this scenario to work, we need to replace Zane with Michi and have her carry out the exact same plan. So, let's say that Kawaii-chan returned early from Michi's house, given that she recovered, and Michi also made her way onto Kawaii-chan's house slightly later. The reason being that she realised that if she was going to be attended by Kawaii-chan being ill, that Reese would probably follow soon after. And so she was to go over to Kawaii-chan's house to assess the situation. Yeah. Michi was never a kind person, and used to spite the only friend she seemed to have just for the sheer thrill of it. But on that fateful night, on MyStreet they say that very soon things would not be this way. I'm going to insert Michi just when Zane is about to set off with Pinky Cake on the sleigh. Being the curious cat that she is at heart, she naturally asks Zane what is going on. Zane is embarrassed to have been seen with a pony. Well, I was just assessing this vehicle. As head of the neighborhood watch, I needed to make sure that it was safe to be on the streets. After which, he promptly flees the scene. Seeing Pinky Cake all alone, Michi asks the question again. Pinky Cake explains what was going on, and Michi realizes that she could take over from Zane and steal Christmas herself. Not out of revenge, but out of desire to pull a prank on someone, which, as we know, Michi cannot resist. Just like Zane, Michi is eventually caught by Aphmau after having carried out the exact same plan, and probably will get a musical number at some point. But yes, she is caught by Aphmau, and her voice is greatly more recognisable than Zane's, so she has no chance of tricking our protagonist. Just like with Zane in the original, Aphmau confronts Michi, asking her why she was doing this. Michi replies that she has no real reason, just like for most other decisions that she makes in life. Effectively saying more or less the same thing that Zane said, because I can, but without the extra motivation that makes Aphmau initially take pity on Zane. Aphmau isn't happy. She proceeds to scold Michi, at first to no avail, but eventually she brings up Kawaii-chan, your only friend, the person who cares most about you, and you're trying to make her suffer. There is no further low that a person can stoop to. This hits Michi like a freight train. As the weight of Aphmau's words sink in, Michi proceeds to feel remorse and cry her eyes out, just as she is feeling her lowest, just as she is feeling the worst she has felt in years, as if no one could be any comfort to her. She then feels something else, an arm going around her and being pulled into a hug. Aphmau apologizes, saying that what she said was mean and a bit too far. Kawaii-chan did explain to Aphmau in a previous episode that Michi is insecure and does tell Kawaii-chan about her problems, so Aphmau is aware that Michi probably has some deep-seated past that makes her the way that she is at the moment. However, she does refresh in Michi, as she is tightly embracing her, that this is not the way she should go about treating people. She couldn't make any more friends if she was to carry on in the same way she was before. You do want more friends, don't you? Yes. Aphmau then makes a deal with Michi. She determines that if Michi starts acting nicer around people and not trying to spite them, then she would be Michi's friend. Michi can't believe what she's hearing. Really? She says. Aphmau reassures her with a smile. Really? Now we jump forward in time to the Christmas party, with the narration from Picky Cake. At the party, everything looks fairly normal and like the original, with only 2 changes. Michi no longer goes after Reese to spite Kawaii-chan. There's no evidence of that happening in the actual episode, since the focus is on Aphmau and Zane at the time, but it's safe to say that she probably would have done the same thing, given that, you know, they would both be there, because the illness wasn't so bad, so they would both recover. At which point, Aphmau sees the opportunity to actually prompt Kawaii-chan and to go off and, you know, just talk to Reese. Michi, by instinct, is about to interfere, but then she crosses eyes with Aphmau, who gives her a tender smile again, and she lets go. So Kawaii-chan and Reese actually have a chance to talk to each other, and the pair seem to get along. The whole incident with the cookie in episode 2 is all forgiven and forgotten. Clean slate, they start anew. The second change is a lot more severe. Not necessarily in the party itself, but for the rest of the series of MyStreet as we know it. Zane wasn't there. And that's where I'm going to leave part 1, and the immediate impact of Michi stealing Christmas instead of Zane. She would go on to befriend Aphmau in Zane's place and begin to turn over a new leaf. Zane would return to his house and his lonesome and grouchy ways, for now. Don't worry, Zane is still going to feature in the story, and he'll still have his own character arc. It just won't be the same one as before exactly, but anyway. For one, the whole thing with the incident with Sprinkle still happened, so he'll get his part in the story. It just won't happen right away. Let me know what ideas you have in the future for next What Ifs, because I want to do a lot more of these. And also, tell me in the comments what your favourite season of MyStreet is and why. I want to do a bunch more of these, like I said, and hopefully the next part of What If Michi Stole Christmas will come out fairly soon. But for now, and on that note, until next time, farewell.